Whew. Good evening, everybody. It's Thursday night, not our normal night, but it's Thursday night. But we have a special guest, and then we have another guest that we see him all the time, so he's not that special. I mean, he's special, like short bus special, but he's he's not as special of a guest as our main guest. That's a lot of guests. Shut up, Michael. Michael's in the background trying to wave me out, going, "Don't go there, don't go there." Anyway, so hey, welcome to the All Over Overland show on Thursday night. Tonight we're going to showcase a really cool company that has a lot of neat history, and they've evolved, with different markets and one thing or another. So anyway, without further ado, let's bring Michael on here and have him, uh, you know, when he does that shit he does.
Dude, it's just getting worse and worse, man. Like
I
you
just
were
like
up on such a high pedestal when you started this. I was like, you were like, I'm gonna try something different, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about different, and it was good, but
Yeah, well,
wow.
I'm
You're
tired
though.
tonight.
You're sleepy.
Well, that's my excuse, and that's what I'm sticking with. But hey, listen, tonight's episode is especially exciting because of our guest, and we have Chris from the More Expo, which this episode is sponsored by More Expo.
That's right.
Along with Chad from Overland Addict and Big Iron Overland Rally, to name a few. So we're really grateful for Chad and all the things he does. And we're grateful for Chris and all the wonderful things he does. And tonight,
in fact, they have a new Campfire Cocktail.
They do have a new one out. Today. I need to get it posted. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but all of them were great. And so if you haven't seen them, you got to go see them.
Hey, before we get into that, have you seen the Raptor Bronco?
I have.
The funniest meme that I've seen is that old Bronco 2 with the cut up kid swimming pool as fenders.
Oh my God, the old school one, yeah.
And they're comparing that to because it's red and it has those goofy wide looking fenders on it. Yeah, it is such a true representation. It's amazing. If you haven't seen that meme, it's one of the best ones I've seen.
It's hilarious.
It's pretty good.
So anyway, bring our good friend Chris on from the More Expo. We
just wanted to jump into the show.
Yeah, I do. I want to jump in the show, man. I'm excited about our guest and all the things that Chris is doing. I mean, with the More Expo. I mean, holy crap! If you guys haven't seen, this guy's bringing on so many exhibitors and vendors. It's absolutely amazing. So let's bring on our buddy Chris real quick.
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Hey,
the
guys,
man,
thanks for
the
having
man
me.
with the plan. We love.
All right, now we talked about the Campfire Cocktails. You happen to have the drink from the newest video that's out. Came out today.
I think that's the way I'm going to start doing these. I'll launch them.
I'm gonna do a drink. Let's do.
There we go.
Let's do a drink.
I'll launch them on Thursday, and then I'll celebrate during the show with whatever we made. So this week's Campfire Cocktail is the Brooklyn, which is a spin on a Manhattan.
Love it.
Really, it's just pretty much whiskey and cherry juice.
It's my kind of drink right there.
I gotta say, watching you and Chad make those and trying a lot of those, I think I tried a lot of them. You guys did a fantastic job, not only just with making them, but I mean, the whole setup that you had. So if there's somebody out there that hasn't gone and seen them, go to the More Expo YouTube page is a great place, or the Facebook
They're on the
page.
website too.
Yeah, on the website. Yeah. Go see these things because they're not hard to make.
And you're right, dude. The setup that they have for this, just looks overlanding cool.
It does. I mean, it does. And so, I mean, they're not hard to make. I think Chris nailed it when he put all these together and he made them so that a lot of them use some of the same ingredients over and over and over again in these episodes, different ones. And I don't know, they seem easy to make.
We made 20 cocktails in 2 days. I think one day we made like 13, and then the next day we made 7.
Yeah.
But we were able to produce 20 videos, and we didn't stage any of it. We weren't using tea or anything like that. We brought real top shelf whiskeys, and
yeah.
I think I had like
I didn't even think you could have used tea to fake the whiskey.
We
not
could
get so slammered.
Well, it would have been a heck of a lot cheaper too, but I just thought, you know what?
Yeah, I bet.
Do it. Yeah.
So tell everybody real quick, what's the reason for all these videos, and what's going to happen?
Oh yeah, so we're doing something super fun at the More Expo that we haven't done yet. It's a lounge area where we're creating an atmosphere for people to just come and relax, kind of hang out, be able to talk across the table to one another, sit down, have their lunch, make and have a decent cocktail, listen to some live music. You know, we just wanted to make a fun area to hang out. And when Chad Boyd with Overland Addict told me, he said, "Hey, I want to get more involved in the show. And I really just want to create something that everybody's going to love and enjoy, and it's going to be fun for everybody." I was like, man, I know exactly what we can attach to Overland Addict's booth, and it's just the perfect fit.
It is.
So, you know, it'll be the two things attached to each other, the OA booth and then the the recovery room. So what we did was
that's
we were
brutal,
like,
dude. Hold on. Read with it. My daughter just walked by and said, "It's Mike and Lee, and that guy that scheduled more on my birthday." Wow.
She's harsh.
Brutal. It's not on Valentine's Day anymore. So yeah. So we decided, you know, what better way to get people excited about the lounge area than to show them how to make some good campfire cocktails. And we weren't really seeing much out there for anything.
I think
cocktail recipes. So
yeah. And speaking of which, you guys need to get your tickets. It's April 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Yep.
Springfield, Missouri. Go to www.moreexpo.com to get your tickets. So
now let's do something different tonight. Let's let Chris, since he's our buddy, and let's let him intro our special guest because he set it up.
Well, without further ado, we bring you the coolest, the hippest, the baddest bike riding mamma jamma you ever seen. If you never seen anybody rip a bike up Hell's Revenge, this is the guy that did it. Jump on YouTube, catch Spinks ripping it up with the QuietKat e-bikes, and let's bring him on here and
right on, man.
Get it on.
That was it, Chris.
You're
perfect. Hired.
All right, Spinks. Welcome to the show, man. Glad to have you here. How's it going?
Hey, it's going great. Thanks for having me. That was quite the intro.
Yeah, kidding.
Way better than me.
Love it.
Yeah, it was awesome. You did great, Chris. We might need to hire you on as our intro guy.
Yeah, and I will say, Hell's Revenge on the e-bike was awesome, and I think we're going back out for Easter Jeep Safari again this spring, and I think that's on the bucket list again. We're probably not going to do another video, but I'm just going to go ride it myself because it was so much fun.
That's
for liability reasons. We're not going to do another video.
Well, I think we did Fins and Things a couple years ago. Then we went back and did Hells. We've done Imogene Pass. We've done Ophir Pass. We've done Holy Cross. So we've got quite a few Jeep badges of honor right now on the Jeep e-bike.
That is awesome.
I think the next step here in Moab is to step it up a little bit and see what else we can go play on out there in the Slick Rock.
I think that's fantastic. I think that's fantastic. Wow.
And what a great way to capture the experience of what this bike can bring you. You know,
absolutely.
I think we had talked a little earlier, and that's kind of one of your roles, is to make sure everybody's aware of the experience and has a good experience with every aspect of it. So, doing those things and showing people what can do, and he's taking it to, you know, what most people would be like, what the hell are we doing? Why do you want to do that on a bike? That sounds rough, but that's what your e-bike was made for. Now, which it's the Jeep bike that you guys are doing this with?
Yeah, so I work for QuietKat Electric Mountain Bikes, and we were founded in 2012. We started by making an electric trike, and we were really popular in the hunting community. And the kind of there's got to be a better way moment that our founders faced was getting out to their tree stands, whitetail deer hunting in the Midwest, and how could they get out to a tree stand that was further away, but not use a loud motorcycle that was scaring everything off and basically dragging a nice exhaust scent all the way down the line where you're going. So the e-bike really made a lot of sense. Yeah. And from that, we've really grown to be the utility e-bike. And that's where our synergy with Jeep came. And they actually found us at the Outdoor Retailer Show, which is where I'm at right now. They found us a couple years ago here at this Outdoor Retailer Show, saw the synergy between the brands and said, we want to do something. We want to do an official Jeep electric mountain bike. This is going to work out so well. Of course, a few months later, they dropped the electric 4xe Wrangler. So I've been fortunate enough to be traveling with Jeep for the last year to help tell that electric off-road story.
And the electric
bike the electric bike has been a great accessory, especially for that overland community, right? Where you're going to go out and maybe the rooftop tent opens up. And at that point, the Jeep is kind of, in place for a little while. The e-bike comes off the back and now the adventure continues.
Yeah. And like on the, now, is it a lot like the hardtail version or is it a full suspension?
So the Jeep e-bike is a full suspension bike. It's actually the goal was to make the most capable electric mountain bike ever made. Nice. So it goes to the next big difference between the traditional, I'll call it traditional electric mountain bike and a QuietKat is we have much more power, much more torque, and again, much more utility. So a traditional electric mountain bike is going to be 250 watts, peak around 450, which is great for that nice performance mountain bike ride. That's not necessarily going to tow a trailer and haul a bunch of gear with you or haul a bunch of tools. So our motors are 750 watt for classified version. And then we have unclassified versions that are 1000 and peaking at 1500 watts. And that gives you the power and the torque and the capability to actually go a lot further and bring a lot more gear with you as opposed to just a nice, traditional bike ride.
Well, and that's where I was going with that, because I know that I was surprised whenever I started watching the videos and diving into it, the huge influence you have in the hunter's market. I mean, it's just, I'm an old mountain bike guy. I've done a couple local races and stuff like that. Nothing crazy, but I was a big time mountain bike guy. So whenever I first saw it, that's straight to what I went to is recreational bike riding. But it totally makes sense on the hunting side. But I was going to ask about the full suspension. Does it have the same load capacity or pulling power that the hardtail has?
So the full suspension bike actually has a little bit more power in the motor than the hardtail version. And it's going to have a similar capacity for towing. So you're still going to be able to hook up a trailer. You're still going to be able to run a pannier bag set. You're still going to be able to haul, heavy gear on a backpack and then get on the bike, ascend really steep hills, have the confidence in the braking system to be able to descend those hills. So you really get all of the power and efficiency that you need to do what you want to do. Like you said, of bringing your gear with you and taking that adventure with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. And I guess the more power is because of the wheel suck you get from the chain, just whenever you go back on it. I know that in full suspension, just pedaling, you kind of lose a lot of power whenever that suspension flexes and stuff like that. So
yeah, and old school designs are gonna have a lot more effect. If you look at the Jeep e-bike, it's not a toy. It's not a real simple design per se. It's a much more advanced modern mountain bike design with a true 4-bar linkage. So the anti-squat and the anti-rise properties have really been addressed to handle the torque of that motor, so that when you hit that power, or you either hit the throttle or you pedal to engage that power, you're going to get immediate power to the wheels, and that full suspension is going to help maintain that traction so that you maintain the grip, just like we're all looking for in our off-road vehicles, as far as keeping the tire on the ground to be able to get up and over that rugged terrain.
That's awesome. Because it was one of those, the first thing I thought of was just that wheel suck that you get, and stuff like that. If you need to get on it, is it going to going to be right there. But it sounds like you guys have solved that problem. And I think it's just a really super cool design. And like you said, you can park the Jeep or the truck or whatever you're in, open up the tent, vehicle staying, but you can still take this to go fly fish. If it's, a couple hundred yards or even further, you can still go explore the area. It's awesome. I'm all sold out.
Absolutely. On a full charge on our higher end bikes, you're going to get 25 to 30 mile range out of that. We also have a solar panel that you can recharge with, and it only runs at 100 watt hours. So you can recharge it off a generator and other off-grid systems really easily. So you talk about rolling up the river a little bit to go float a fly. Maybe you want to find a nice little lookout point for the sunset, or maybe you just want to explore a little bit of what's beyond the campsite and beyond what typical people are able to do on a hike. You're able to cover a lot more ground a lot more quickly. Sometimes it's just important if you're setting up camp to do a quick little perimeter check, and looking for wildlife. Are we in a good spot? Are we in a safe spot? If it rains, am I in a flood zone? And even just checking out 4-wheel trails. I've used the bike a lot to go scouting in the springtime. I'll carry a little chainsaw with me so that I can go up and do a little bit of clearing along the way. Because obviously we get a lot of timber fall here in Colorado. So really the versatility of the bike is really endless.
Wow.
Right
Now, Chris, you have one.
I do. Yeah.
How do you like it?
It's absolutely, it's
you
a
just
game
told
changer.
us you just told us a really good story how you utilize that bike.
Yeah. I use it for fun and utility. I live super close to the stadium. So,
and what stadium is that?
Arrowhead Chiefs Stadium.
Yeah. You just the stadium.
The stadium. Oh yeah, I just assumed.
Yeah, we're worldwide, man. We gotta narrow that down.
So I live like 2 miles from Arrowhead, but there's actually a bike trail that goes up to Arrowhead. So I like to ride up there and kind of cruise around while everybody's tailgating, grab a hot dog or a beer or something like that. And everybody always wants to stop and say hi, and check out the bike. It's awesome
cool looking
piece. It's intense looking.
So and what's super cool about it is that it's not just the e-bike. I mean, you can still pedal this bike. So if the battery did run out, if you were out riding it all day long and the battery did run out for some reason, you got forever away from home, you could pedal home.
So
you're not just
killed
stuck.
the battery on it.
Yeah, sure thing. You can pedal at home. You can also carry an additional battery, which is really easy, and just swap it out while you're out in the field. That's really easy to do, and extend the range that way as well.
And I love that you guys put a lock on the battery.
We did. We put a full steel lock on the battery for 2 reasons. One, batteries are expensive, and we want to make sure that somebody can't just come up and yank it right out of the bike. And then also, like you've seen in our videos, we take it over some pretty rugged terrain. The last thing you want is to be going over some bumpy terrain, focused on keeping yourself on the bike, and have a malfunction like that. So full steel lock, keeping everything in check.
So for everybody listening and or watching, Ryan and QuietKat are gonna be at the More Expo.
Yeah.
And Chris, what are they gonna have the opportunity to do at the More Expo with QuietKat?
I'm super excited about this. QuietKat's got a killer demo fleet. What do you guys normally travel with? 10 bikes?
Usually, yeah.
Something like that. It's something for the hunters, something for the fishermen, something for the avid, mountain biker that is looking for challenging terrain. Just they carry all the models. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to create a place for people to actually try these things, because it's something that you have to sit on one and pedal it to understand what it is. And I was trying to figure out, what would be a cool place for people to ride at the expo. And what we're going to do is we're going to set Spinks and his team up out in the outside vendor area. And then the e-bike track is actually going to run the complete
That's awesome
perimeter, which is it's 1,200 feet square. So we'll actually have a track that goes around all of the outside vendor areas. So if you kind of think about it like like you're at a NASCAR race or something. You know, just picture yourself in the pits if you're in the vendor area, and then you've got the track going around you. And hopefully, you know, they'll have 10 bikes cruising around the whole time, people waving at each other.
What a fantastic opportunity. I mean, think for everybody has looked at, I mean, look, we've all looked at at an e-bike, and especially the QuietKat. Yeah, there you go. And you've you've looked at it and went, man, I wonder what that's really like to ride. Well,
yeah.
Now
you're absolutely right.
You're going to have the opportunity now, because there's a lot of people I know that have said, I don't know that I could ride one of those e-bikes. And, you know, it's a little different, but it's not hard, and it's fun as shit.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think one of the big things that I found just in my experience of going to different events and giving people a chance to get on it is, like you said, a lot of people don't really know what to expect. There's so many different types of e-bikes out there now. You've got nice little, I don't want to say toys, but kind of nice little toys for riding up and down the beach. You've got e-bikes that are designed for commuting and replacing your vehicle to ride around in urban areas. And then you've got, you know, traditional mountain bike brands that are bringing in their style of e-bikes. So everything is just so different, and the feeling is very different, and everybody's approaching it in a different way. And I think what's unique about the QuietKat bike is we're not necessarily coming from a traditional cyclist background. We're not necessarily coming from an urban commuting background either. What we're coming from is the outdoor enthusiast background of we want to go further. We want to get out there a little bit more. We want to bring more gear with us. You know, we're nature photographers that want to be able to bring more gear out to, you know, remote locations. We've had artists that want to take easels and paints and all sorts of materials like that, and again, reach really unique locations where they can get out and do some of that scenery stuff. You know, we've had people that just want to get back out on a bike and feel the wind through their hair, but they don't want to have the barriers of entry that come with a motorcycle, with the fuel and the weight of the machine and the license and the title, the registration, the storage. So the QuietKat e-bike specifically puts you in such a great position for doing the urban commuting, if that's what you want to do on a Friday night. On Saturday, you can take it out and go fishing. On Sunday, you can go hunting. You know, Monday you can head out and check the trail cameras. So it's got so much versatility. And really the other big thing that sets us apart is the accessories. Just like we all know in the overland community, a lot of us have got Jeeps or Toyotas or pickup trucks, but it's the accessories and it's those custom mods that really set it apart, right? And really make for those mission critical criteria, you know, to be checked off as far as what we all want to do and where we want to go. And that's what you're going to find with QuietKat is the accessories is how you're going to be able to really customize the bike for what you want to do.
So Jeff has a pretty funny comment.
There's a great comment there.
Lee, read it for us.
I just called and yelled at my mom for not giving me a cool name like Spinks. Okay, and on that note, let's do a little mandatory whiskey shot here.
There we go.
In honor of
drink if you have something. If you don't, just sit there and stare at the screen.
Yeah.
So
we'll fire whiskey again tonight.
What's your background before QuietKat? You were doing some pro mountain biking, is that right?
So I started my my life, I guess, as a skiing athlete. I competed at X Games way back in the day for skiing. Did a lot of mountain biking in the summer, mountain bike racing. I'm really just Peter Pan out here in the mountains, you know, just trying to hold on to Neverland and just go play. So yeah, I worked in the ski industry for a long time. I also worked as a photographer and a media consultant within the ski industry. And then I after retiring from my athlete career after injury, I was overseeing ski and mountain bike rental shops. And that's really what kind of led me to look at the difference between what the brand was on the gear and what the customer was trying to get. Now, the rental shops that I was overseeing are in Vail, Colorado, Beaver Creek, Breckenridge, Colorado. So this is world-class clientele with the highest expectations. When a customer is coming in spending $50,000 a week on their skiing vacation, they don't really care what the brand is of skis. What they care about is when I get to the top of the chairlift and look at this beautiful view and cruise down, is everything just working out and I'm just enjoying this. This is the experience that I'm looking for. So that's the focus that I've tried to take from that experience into QuietKat. And what's the experience all about? When you throw your leg over the bike and ride out into the backcountry, 10, 15, 20 miles, we want to make sure that that product is there to help you. We want to make sure that it's enhancing the experience and it's not causing the experience to be more negative, or you're not having to work harder, just to have this equipment with you, but instead the equipment is allowing you to be more efficient, to have a better time, and ultimately have more fun. Because, at the end of the day, I think we all just really want to go play in the woods.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. That's what we want to do, is just go play. And one of the things that, you were talking about, like the photographer and the artist that wants to take it, their concerns are going to be just the same as a hunter, because they want to be quiet, because they want to make the least impact on, the surrounding environment and the animals. They don't want to spook anybody, that kind of thing, or the smell from the exhaust, all of that stuff. So it just makes total sense to me.
Yeah, you're right on. And like we said, it's everything from hunters, fishermen, going camping, or just going out and exploring what's out there. With the Jeep Synergy, we've been able to do a lot of these off-road trails. Let's face it, not all of us have, the means to have a full secondary overland vehicle. My daily driver is my overland vehicle. Ironically, ironically, I designed the Jeep e-bike. I'm a lifelong 4Runner guy, and this is my 5th 4Runner now. It's a 5th gen on 33s.
Nice.
But that being said, that when I roll up to a trail, like Hell's Revenge, it's like, well, okay, I could, very meticulously drive across this with my daily driving overland rig, or I could jump on the bike and go and get after it. One of the cool things we found, popping up with this comment here, talking about the range, very, very common question. I could tell you that the battery goes 50 miles. And sure, easiest gear, lowest power level, down a hill, wind at your back, you probably get 50 miles out of the battery. The practical range on our higher end batteries is going to be 25 to 30 miles. And that's using the machine as it was intended to be used. When we did the Hell's Revenge trail, I think Hell's Revenge is marked at about 12 or 13 miles. We filmed the entire video, so we were going back and forth and doing multiple shots, multiple angles. We still had about 40% battery left over at the end.
Oh, wow.
So what we determined was, if you were staying in Moab, somewhere down at the hotel on Main Street, you would be able to leave your hotel, go all the way up Sand Flats Road, do Hell's Revenge, and then ride all the way back down for a beer at Eddie McStiff's on one battery.
Nice.
I believe
Man, if that's not the experience, I don't know what is.
You could sell that. You should take people on tours. I'm sold. That's quickly. Awesome. Yeah, no kidding. So when Chad asked the question, how long is the ride time? I have a question. What's the average charge time? If you're gonna, and I don't know, what it accepts. You said solar generators and that kind of stuff, but what's about the length of time for charging, or to once you've run the battery down?
Yes, it'll plug right into the wall, and our standard charger runs at 100 watt hours, and the larger batteries are about 600 to 700 watt hours. Okay, so you're looking at 6 to 7 hours for a full charge from fully dead. We do have our fast charger, which runs at 3 amps instead of 2 amps. So you're getting, a little bit faster charge time out of that. So you're going to get, closer to that 3 to 5 hours instead of that 4 to 7.
Chris, how long until you have some Red Arc product on your QuietKat?
So I've been using the Red Arc
to charge it.
system to charge that e-bike, and it's sweet because what I do is I just open one of the Gullwing windows a little bit, and I can run that charge cord right out to the bike while the bike's on the rack, plug it in. So from destination to destination, I can go kill a battery. And then by the time I get to the next destination, I've got, between 60 and 100% charge. And honestly, a 60% charge on that thing, you get to camp, all of your buddies get to take it for a ride, and it's gonna last until it gets dark. I mean, I was really kind of apprehensive about how long the battery was actually going to last on that thing, and I'm absolutely blown away. I'm impressed. It lasts as long as I need it to. And I was thinking at first, maybe I'll grab 2 batteries with it.
Right.
I don't really see that it's necessary. And I think I've got about 400 miles on it since I picked it up at the end of September.
Think about him at Rendezvous. I mean, if there's an e-bike around, he's gonna be right.
He'll steal it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I have for years. Every event that I ever go to, I'm like, who's got an e-bike I can borrow? I got to go talk to people.
And then everybody's like, where's Chris? Has anybody seen Chris? Nope, haven't seen him.
now, Spinks, I wanted to talk about a little bit from, knowing that you have a little bit more mountain biking, background than the hunting background. So you probably know that, like, at least a while ago, there was a big stigma on e-bikes on mountain bike trails. Has that changed any as far as the way people look at it now that more companies are doing it?
Definitely. And shout out to our partners at peopleforbikes.org. People for Bikes is a great organization based out of here in Colorado. They're just up the street in Boulder. And they've done a great job of putting together basically the classified electric bicycle system. So that breaks it down to what is classified as an electric bicycle. And that draws that line in the sand between what's a motorcycle versus what's a bicycle. Overall, legislation has become a lot more favorable. I think a lot more people are starting to understand that the electric bike is not any less safe. In fact, in many situations, it's actually more safe than a traditional bicycle. The barriers to entry are a lot lower than a lot of people expected. And the catastrophic, somebody's going to be going way too fast, that's going to be a problem. They're not necessarily wrong. The e-bike does go on an average a little bit faster, but we're not talking about, the differentiation in speed between, say, a motorized vehicle like a motorcycle and a bicycle. So for the most part, it is very favorable. I will admit that there's a lot of common sense legislation going in that we're very favorable for, which includes no e-bikes on certain trails. We have a trail right outside of our office that goes up about 3 miles, about 1,000 vertical feet. And if you're in there in the morning or in the evening after work, it's full of locals getting their grind on, getting their exercise, heading up the trail. It's a real, pardon my French, a real dick move to come up behind them on a Jeep e-bike, especially. Hey, how's it going, man? On your left. As somebody's trying to get their grind on. And to be fair, the dirt road that's kind of the Jeep road that runs parallel to the bike trail is a lot more fun to ride on the e-bike because it's a little bit straighter and you don't have quite the tight switchbacks to navigate. So I think for the most part, what we're seeing is very good, favorable legislation that is allowing people to ride their bikes where it makes sense, people to ride their e-bikes where it makes sense. And then also, understanding that the e-bike is a great, sustainable, easy, low impact type of mode of transportation that doesn't have those kind of, call it, scary issues that come along with the motorized vehicles, with the high speed, the high noise, the petrol, the chemical pollution, and everything else that you get with a motorized vehicle.
So basically, trails maybe need to have or do have a rating system, kind of like, skiing has the diamonds and the stuff like that, and have it to where, the red dot, which is the hardest one or the one that's tightest or however you want to say, but at every place that's designated for pedal only,
I think there's room for trail maintenance, trail managers, and different trail systems to, make a common sense decision on where e-bikes should be allowed and where e-bikes, aren't necessarily appropriate. There's also a big difference between, someone who is trying to pack a whole bunch of gear to be able to access a special honey hole to go fishing this person is not going 30, 40 miles an hour, right? This is more of the pack mule style of, we're just cruising along, getting in. We're riding at bicycle speeds. So I think that practical use is something that we've advocated for, and something that we're seeing a lot of positive results from. And again, shout out to peopleforbikes.org. I'd encourage anybody, if you're interested to know what are the laws in your state, what are the rules and regulations in the area you live, check out People for Bikes. They've got a really good resource to get you really dialed in.
Yeah, because that Springfield market, there's a big mountain bike mecca happening, in that area and down south to Bentonville, Arkansas. Bentonville is just exploding with mountain biking, and mountain bikers and races and all kinds of stuff. And just that whole area is getting on the map big time lately. Last probably 5+ years.
Yeah, and I even think I saw some of those trails down there, Michael, in the Bentonville area that they had built, that had these wooden bridges that they curved through, but they had certain days that were specifically catered to the e-bike market. Was that, hey, look, these are days that this is really where we want them, that we really want you. So they're welcome all the time, but I think they put an emphasis, on a certain day to maybe get, people out there together to, ride bikes together, mingle, whatever, so there's a ton of trails. So, you have to, since you're going to be in Springfield, and you got a couple of bikes, you might ought to go try them out. So some of the most, it's beautiful.
I've got a question for you. Is the throttle control, are you able to disengage something or shut something off? Maybe shut the whole unit off with the power button and just black the screen. Does that make it a traditional bike at that point?
Yeah, it's a great question. You can obviously turn the bike off completely, and it's just a traditional bicycle at that point. It's certainly a little heavier because you're going to be, pedaling with the mass of the motor and the battery with it alongside there. But you can ride it as a traditional bicycle. Our classified electric bicycles will have that 750 watt motor. They'll have the speed limit at 20 miles an hour. And they ship as class 2 because they utilize a thumb throttle. So at some trails say class 1 only, you can just unplug that throttle, which renders it obviously useless. So therefore, there is no throttle to engage. It's only the pedal assist that engages the motor. So you're at that point, you're at class 1 compliance. So we've had a lot of favorability as far as getting out there and using the bike in that classified manner where it's required. For example, Pennsylvania came out last year and said all of our fish and game land, all of our DNR land, all of our state fish and game hunting land, classified e-bikes are completely allowed. Class 1 and class 2 are legal for use. And we sell more classified e-bikes in Pennsylvania than any other state.
Wow.
In Illinois, for example, it's 90%, maybe 99% private land, where they don't have those regulations. So we have a lot of the hunters and the outdoorsmen out there that are using it on private lands that use the 1,000 watt with the 1,500 watt peak because it's beyond the power of the classified e-bike. But again, they don't have those compliance requirements. So it's really based on where you want to ride and where you want to go. And what you want to do that determines which model of bike that you want to choose from.
And I totally get it because they're just being forward thinking, because if this is where e-bikes are, and they probably have this legislation, I can't say the word, but that government sounding
legislation,
word, that one set in place before some of these newer bikes came out. But I could see how they're forward thinking and thinking this could end up being like, you put a good motor on there and as technology, they could end up doing 55 miles an hour and, getting crazy. So I can understand limitations on a lot of the places and a lot of the mountain biking trails, obviously, that would go with that, because that would be more of a get it on a dirt bike trail at that point. So I can see it.
I got a quick question. So one thing I was and I meant to ask you this earlier, was weight capacity. So what's it rated to carry, say, as a person? And then towing the cargo, like you said, trailer or something like it. So give us a rundown of the capacities of what it's rated at.
Sure. So as the mountain bike itself, it's rated up to 325 pounds. So that's going to be the weight of the rider plus any backpack, any gear that you're going to be carrying on your person. We rate the trailer at an additional 125 pounds.
Okay.
And the reason we rate it at 125 is because of what I call the rider skill threshold, where any more weight than 125 pounds on the trailer, and you start to really rely on the rider's ability to maintain the weight behind them and maintain staying on the bike. And of course, that's going to come down to the terrain that you're on, how experienced of a rider you are, and also how much weight you may be carrying on the bicycle itself, to balance that ratio between the weight of the bike and the weight of the trailer.
So that's kind of where you've seen it start to grab the bike and kick the bike's back tire over or something like that.
Things can get awkward, exactly. Just like with a traditional off-road trailer, right? If you've got it, overloaded, if you don't have your tongue weight, dialed in just right, the trailer can actually start manipulating the vehicle in some awkward ways that you have to respond to. And when you're on a bicycle with two wheels that you're trying to balance, that can just get a little bit awkward. Now, speaking candidly, I'm about 205 pounds. I've sat in the trailer and rode down the street to go down to the local barbecue shack for lunch.
Yeah, we're going to have to hang out.
Nolan, my creative director, has definitely ridden the bike with me, and then we've switched, and he rode in the back of the trailer and sipped on sweet tea while we rode back to the office. So, can it carry more weight? Sure, it can carry more weight. But we want to be careful to maintain that confidence amongst the rider. And then also we've designed it for the most rugged terrain out there. So you want to be confident that if you put 125 pounds like a field dress deer onto that trailer, you're going to be able to ride it out, go over the bumps, and know that the trailer is going to stay intact.
Yeah, and at high speeds, it really kind of becomes an issue as far as how you weighted that trailer, down, because the faster you go, the more it gets wiggly. So
that's just impressive.
So I could see the weight limit being at play at that for the safety of the riders. Some people can probably handle it, and other people would freak out and they'd end up flying into a tree or something.
I just think it's impressive.
The trailer can be the greatest thing ever, and then you can get into some funky terrain of going through a dry lake bed or through some funky ravine that's not just straight down and up, but got some undulation going on to it. The trailer can get a little bit awkward.
Yeah, I think it's more fun.
Chad wants to do a rooftop tent on the trailer.
We are working on it.
Awesome. I was gonna say there's probably already something there.
Hey, I haven't seen this, and I haven't really looked at all the aftermarket products for it, or if it comes with this. But so the bike, the new battery goes into the front of the frame on the down tube, so right there where the front tire is. And I know that's probably quite a bit of weight compared to the rest of the bike. Anyway, there's probably a lot of weight in that battery. Do you have an option where if that battery's out, you can put something in its place that's maybe just a hollow tube or something to cover up the connector so you can still ride it as a regular bike?
So you can buy what we have is a dummy battery shell, which doesn't have any cells in it, but will basically fill that mass up. They are popular for folks that want to ride it without the electric power. I'll be honest with you, once you feel that power, you're never going to want to ride without it. I will say, though, the dummy cover is great when folks are putting it on their hitch rack. We're partners with One Up USA. We make a hitch rack that'll go onto the standard trailer hitch. That dummy can be great to be able to keep the battery out of the elements, out of the cold, store it inside the vehicle, and then, like you said, protect those electrical components and those connections inside.
I was thinking, like late at night, if you had the battery on a charger and, you wanted to go poop, but you didn't want to poop right by your tent or where you're at, that you could still pedal it down kind of a ways, even though it might not be the most ideal. Cause it's about a 70-pound bike. Is that right? Somewhere in there?
Between 70 and 80 pounds based on the model and the size battery. The nice thing is if you did need to sneak away in the middle of the night, it's virtually silent. So you can just creep on away nice and easy.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Perfect. Well, awesome.
I wanted to ask about, IP ratings and how waterproof the bike actually is, or what parts of the bike are waterproof.
That's a good
mainly
question.
The reason I'm asking right now is because mine is filthy muddy. I went and found an awesome trail the other day, and it's a wreck. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, do I use baby wipes to wipe it down, or how do I wash this thing?
Great question. The bike is designed to be washed. It's designed to ride through the streams. It'll ride in the rain. You don't want to park it in the lake. You don't want to park it in the middle of the river and submerge the motor. Obviously any submerging of it is going to cause issues, but for the sake now that it's muddy, I wouldn't use a super high pressure power washer, but something that's got the similar pressure to your traditional garden hose with the nozzle on it is going to be just fine. The other key thing I like to tell people when you're washing the bike, and you hear a lot of automotive people say this as well, don't just sit there and let the water do the work, and just let the water pressure be the thing that takes all the dirt off. Yeah. Spray it down, get it wet, wipe it down with a soapy cloth, rinse the soap back off of it. That's going to avoid the water pooling up and finding, its way into any weird areas. You don't want to just sit there with the nozzle full speed on the motor area trying to get the mud off the chainring. Meanwhile, you're just draining the whole motor full of water. So, like I said, best practice, give it a good spray. We sell a lot of products on our website. We're partnered with the Muck Off brand. They make some great products to make it really easy to get it wet, wipe it down. They also make a waterless wash that is probably my favorite product ever in the bike industry right now, aside from our QuietKats, because you can just spray it on and wipe it down. I've used a lot of it at the trade shows recently because it's such a clean and easy process that I can spray it on, wipe it off with a paper towel or with a microfiber cloth, and then I'm not making a huge mess, where I'm actually cleaning the bike.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
that is. And you guys got
every time you wash a bike, you really need to get some more chain, lube on there, depending on if you're a wax guy or an oil guy or however, whatever you guys recommend to use. But yeah, chains don't like water.
Yeah, we've got some great products that allow you to do that. People always ask me, what's the best thing I can do to maintain my bike? And I tell them, keep it clean.
Yeah.
Keep it clean, wash it. You're going to be putting your hands on it at that point. You're going to be looking, touching, feeling, getting really up close to make sure that everything's running properly. And like you said, keep it clean, keep it lubricated. We've got some anti-corrosion spray that you can use if you're in an area that's got a lot of moisture, or if you're doing a lot of mud runs like Chris was doing. That's going to help keep those battery terminals nice and clean and clear, and keep everything running smoothly.
Well, one of the things I did notice too earlier when I was looking is you guys have a lot of maintenance, upkeep, accessories or replacement parts, tires, tubes, chains, all that kind of stuff. So you support the product really well. What's the warranty on these?
So we have a lifetime warranty on the frame, and we have a year warranty on all the components, including the battery, motor, and electrical components.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
As most of you know, a bicycle is really a combination of a lot of different components. So we use brand name components that you're going to recognize, companies like SRAM, RockShox, Tektro. So these companies stand behind their products, and we're able to extend their warranties. In many cases, we can extend the warranty a little bit further than those manufacturers, which is great because they stand behind their products, makes it easy for us to stand behind our products.
I dig it.
Very cool. Very cool.
So if somebody needs to do service, this is a piece of equipment as far as I'm concerned with it. And, I've got some mechanical background and knowledge, but, it's funny. I can build you a big block for a race car, but I don't know much about working on bikes, right? So what does one do if they're just stumped with trying to set gears or something like that? Where do they find info?
Great question. We've got a lot of options. First option, of course, is QuietKat.com. And our YouTube and Vimeo pages, we have got over 150 different videos, everything from how do I adjust to shifting, how do I adjust my brakes, how do I clean the bike, all the way up to installing different accessories, installing all of our aftermarket parts, like you mentioned, changing a tire, changing a tube. We also have a partnership with the VeloFix organization. They are mechanics in a van that are nationwide. They will come to you and perform maintenance operations on the bike, which is just fantastic.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Super cool. And really any bike shop. Most bike shops now will do e-bikes. There are some bike shops that will not touch the motor and the battery, which is just fine. We can handle that in-house at our customer service center right in Eagle, Colorado. And a lot of bike shops, like I said, will be able to handle things like adjusting the brakes, adjusting shifting, dialing in your controls, dialing in your saddle height, your bar rolls. So we definitely encourage you to go to your local bike shop, go into their service centers, lean on their expertise to really get the bike dialed in. Or like you said, if you're a little bit mechanical, you're not scared of turning a wrench. We sell all the tools that you're going to need, all the specialty tools for the bike. And like I said, I got a ton of videos that will walk you through step by step of how to perform a lot of these maintenance and repair functions.
Now, what model would you say is probably more geared toward your average overlander that really just wants to kind of explore around the campsite? Probably not going to do really any mountain bike trails with it, but going to do some maybe Jeep trails, which model would you recommend for that segment?
Sure. So we really have three different categories of bikes. Our first category is our hub drive series. So that's going to be our Villager, which is kind of our urban cruiser, and our Ranger series. The Ranger series, along with that Voyager you got there. The Ranger series and the Voyager are used, and the Villager, they're using a hub drive motor. So the hub drive just drives the rear wheel. It's a 1-to-1 direct drive. It's very, very low maintenance, very, very easy to get on and cruise around. And that's going to be great if you're in a flatter area with just some rolling hills, but nothing really too steep and prolonged. If you are going up to a more mountainous terrain where you're going to be climbing steeper hills, you really want to utilize the gears, then you want to step up to a mid-drive motor, and that's going to be an Apex or a Warrior series in a hardtail version. The mid-drive motor, that second category, is the mid-drive motor drives the front chainring the same as you would by pedaling a traditional bicycle. So your easy gears, the motor is going to take advantage of that easy gear to climb really steep hills. And then the taller gears, or the small ones, as we typically call the harder gear, to reach that top speed, the motor is going to take advantage of that dynamic torque as well. And then the third category, if you're in the most rugged terrain, you want the highest performance, that's going to be a full suspension bike, which is the Jeep e-bike or the Ridge Runner series. And there you're going to have that 4-bar linkage on the rear end. You're going to have very high-end suspension components, our highest-end braking components, and the highest-end gearing components to tackle the toughest terrain out there.
Right on.
So are you going to have some that people could actually purchase and take home with them at the More Expo, or is it just going to be order them online and have them shipped to you?
So most people, because of the size and the bulk of the bike, prefer to have them drop shipped to them. Obviously, supply chain inventory has been tough. We are receiving bikes in every day. We're getting containers in and shipping them out to customers now. So more than likely, by the time the expo comes around, we will have the bikes in stock. We may have some physically there for you to ride away on, but more than likely, we'll be able to set it up to process the order right there on site. We'll have a great show special going on. And then we'll be able to ship it direct to you right from our warehouse in Eagle, or from our new distribution warehouse in Arkansas, for those folks on that side of the country.
Really? Right. Where at in Arkansas?
The name of the town just escapes me, but one very, very cool thing is we were just acquired this summer by Vista Outdoor. So we have joined the powerhouse family of brands, including Belt Giro, Camelback, Camp Chef, and Bushnell. Yeah, just to name a few.
Right on.
So we've joined up with Camp Chef in their Arkansas distribution warehouse to be able to expand our distribution a bit more.
That's exciting.
Awesome.
Very good.
That is exciting.
Very good.
That's very
cool.
exciting.
And then if nobody can make it, there's a lot of people listening from all over the world on this. If you can't make it to More Expo to see the bike, you guys do have them in some retail locations, correct?
Absolutely. We are all over the U.S. and Canada. We're in some shops you may recognize like Bass Pro, Cabela's, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Shields. We're also in a number of independent retailers, everything from small bike shops and small outfitters, all the way up to some of our bigger hunting lodges that have them available as rental fleets.
Oh, wow.
We also have a huge direct-to-consumer lineup, so check us out at QuietKat.com. That's cat with a K, and you'll be able to see our full lineup, see live inventory, and then also chat with one of our sales reps to get all your questions answered and get you really dialed in.
Right on. And you guys are on all the social media platforms, correct?
Absolutely.
And that's just under QuietKat?
QuietKat e-bike or QuietKat off-road. You'll find us on the Instagram, on the Facebook. And I think we're also tweeting a little bit of what we're up to.
Are you in your 40s?
I am not in my 40s yet. I just turned 38 the other day.
The reason why I ask is because he says the Instagram, the Facebook. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to my people. So I was like, you didn't look like you were in your 40s, but that's why I was like, wait, are you in your 40s? Like, what's going on here?
I was a member of the Facebook when I was in college when they still had the.
There you go. See? Yeah. And we're going to lose the Facebook altogether here, I guess, pretty soon. The metaverse.
I guess we're all going into the metaverse. I don't know what overlanding is going to look like in the metaverse, but I prefer the view from my windshield currently.
Well, here's the deal. If we have to do it, I'm going to explore the shit out of it. So that's what it's going to be for me. I almost see it as our way of being Lois and Clark. Of getting to and explore something that we have no idea what's going to be out there. So
I guess I'm just wondering if you can buy land in the metaverse. At what point can you buy a YJ on 40s or are Land Cruisers going to still be available in the metaverse since they're going away in the real-averse?
Probably. That's the rub. That's the only place you'll be able to buy it.
I got to be honest. I'm going to resist. It's tangible.
No, you're going to be all in it, just like you are with TikTok.
TikTok?
Yeah.
No, hell no. No TikTok.
Sometimes I just got to get him fired up. I can either do that or I can talk about tread lightly.
Yeah. No, you don't want to get me jacked up.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, Chris, you got anything else, buddy?
Anybody that's listening, come check out these QuietKat e-bikes at More Expo. As an owner myself, I cannot stress to you enough that you can't really fully understand what this thing is until you put your ass in the seat. And baby, once you do, it's a game changer. So come ride a bike at the expo. The expo is April 8th, 9th, and 10th. Stop into the Overland Addict Recovery Room, grab a cocktail, jump on the S'more to More Overland Rally. That's going to be a blast. That's going on the same weekend. So we've got a ton of things that really give you a darn good reason to come to Springfield and check it out. Also, come see us at the Big Iron Overland Rally. We've almost got a full music schedule for that. So we'll have over 18 hours of live music being played. Classes, seminars are getting set up as we speak. Vendor booking is open. So if there's any vendors that are looking for an opportunity to come hang out at an amazing event with all awesome people and great music, come be a part of something that's truly amazing. Jump on the Big Iron Overland Rally website and get that.
That's going to be fun.
Place to have a QuietKat.
That would be a great place to have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say we've done a lot of demos in a lot of places before, and we're really excited for the More Expo, as Chris mentioned, with kind of the racetrack vibe, and it's going to have some terrain features. It's going to be a place where you're really going to be able to experience what the bike is all about. So we're really excited for people to, like I said, get on the bike, feel the power, feel the torque, feel the capability, and be able to ride around where the bike was designed to be ridden, in off-road terrain, to really get a feel of it.
Right on. Well, hey, Spinks, thanks so much for being on the show. We appreciate you. We'll hook up definitely at the More Expo, have you come sit at our booth and and talk to you a little bit about what's going on at that point. But again, go and make sure you get on their website. Go find them on all the social medias. Go over to moreexpo.com. Make sure you get your tickets so that it helps you get through the line a little faster. And then you'll be able to check out vendors and all kinds of different things. Sign up for the S'more to More. Are people signing up for that? How's that? We're going to get into that in a couple weeks.
Are people signing up for it? Yeah.
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 I don't know why I just went blank, but I was like, because I know that you're going to do it a little different this year. So
it's totally different. It's a legitimate rally. People are being scored. There's questions. There's, navigation challenges, radio communication challenges, and people are signing up like crazy for it. I'm super pumped. I had my meeting with Midland Radio, who's our presenting sponsor for that. Last week we did a bunch of planning and just we're high-fiving at the end of the meeting. It's cool. There's a lot of really good energy there. So
yeah, we've got a date on the calendar. We're gonna have Zach back on, and we're gonna talk about their involvement with the S'more to More with Midland Radio. So that's gonna be pretty exciting. So, Ryan, thanks for coming on, man.
Yes,
thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. So, Chris, thanks for being here. Lee, thanks for pushing all the buttons. Everybody out there, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure before you leave, you have another little squeeze of whiskey if you've got it. But whatever you do, make sure that you go all over.